tells a story, doesn't it? It's a very sobering thought. So why don't we? We do. I mean, we're doing very well, and I want you to know that. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about how well we're doing, but we can always improve, and we're going to talk about continual improvement as well. But some of the reasons that we don't, I think, are some of the things that we've talked about. So what's the cure? How do we overcome the spasticity? What would the word be? Spasness? What is it? Spasticity? I like that. How can we overcome the spasticity in our lives? What is the cure? I believe that, at the risk of oversimplifying it, I believe that it's living in the truth. Healthy body life is living in the truth. The interesting thing is that whether or not we believe it, truth is still truth. Our belief or disbelief or perceptual warp or laziness or oblivion doesn't prevent truth from being truth. Specifically, living in the truth about God. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I have kind of a strange, complex brain, but sometimes I can kind of narrow it down to where I think I can get kind of a pinpoint idea of what needs to happen. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I really believe that if we truly knew God, fear and worry would be, or at least begin to become, a thing of the past. I really believe that. One of the things that cripples us is fear and worry and anxiety. The medications that are being taken by people, and I'm not being critical because medication certainly has a place, but it tells a story of how much anxiety we have in our lives these days. King David said, "I saw the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I will not be shaken." And if we were somehow able to live in the middle of that truth, as I believe he intended for us to, I think we would probably not need as many medications or as many things to calm our spirits as what we use today. And again, I'm not being critical because there's a place, but there's more of a place for us finding a true relationship with God and seeing him as he actually is. And that's a whole other message, is how to overcome the perceptual warp that we sometimes have of God. I had an experience when I was I attended school at Purdue. And while I was at school, while I was a student there in grad school, I had my oldest two sons, Derek and Aaron, and one day we were playing with the Frisbee, and the Frisbee landed on the roof of our mobile home. Back then it was a trailer. Now it's, like a manufactured home or something, but we lived in a trailer park, and so Derek says, "So how do we get the Frisbee down?" And I said, "Well, I boost you up there and you throw it down to me." And he's like 5 years old. So I boosted him up on the roof, and he threw it down, and then he's standing at the edge, and he said, "So how do I get down?" I said, "You jump." And he jumped. I mean, he didn't say, "Are you going to catch me?" He didn't say, "Are you sure? Is there another way?" I said, "You jump," and he jumped. Fortunately, I caught him. Because I wasn't really ready for him to jump that quickly. But you know, that has often stuck in my mind. If our Papa God says jump, why should we question? If we really know him, why would we question? Why wouldn't we just leap into his arms? Number 8 on your notes, what is the motivation to become a healthy body? I've always wanted to say this, duh. What is my hand's motivation to do what I will? What is my eye's motivation to look in the direction that I choose? Or what is my foot's motivation to carry me in the direction that I choose to go? What's the peach tree's motivation to make peaches? Or what's the sun's motivation to produce light and heat? It's simply what we're designed to do. That's all. I mean, that is the motivation. It's what we're designed to do. So how can we overcome this spasticity? Is that what we're calling it? How can we overcome the spasticity? Number 9 on your notes. I had a friend who was an engineer at BOC, Buick Olds Cadillac in Flint, Michigan. He had a phenomenal brain. He was inventing a motorized unicycle. back in the mid-'80s. And he had a prototype for that was, it was actually going to work. Unfortunately, George was probably thinking about something when he stepped out in front of a car and he was hit and killed. But before he was, like a week before that, we were talking about what it takes to really grow in our relationship with the Lord. And he said it takes humility. And the humility says that I don't know everything yet that I need to know. And this is the way George put it. Knowing that you know what you know is no way to know what you need to know. And you are going to be tested on that, Roy. Knowing that you know what you know is no way to know what you need to know. This is the way George put it when he said, if we believe that we already know everything that we need to know, that's going to preclude us from learning the things that we don't yet know that we really need to know. Okay? Say it with me. Knowing that you know what you know is no way to know what you need to know. Share that with each other once in a while. There's no special privilege within the body of Christ. We are all members of the body only because he put us there by his grace. And that's the only reason that we are members of the body of Christ. We need to become champions of unity. Some activities of the body are visible, the guy or gal who carries the ball, but what about the guy who hiked the ball or threw the block or sells the hot dogs or makes the hot dogs or operates the camera or built the camera? Further with unity, so a hand reaches out to help or comfort. How important is the eye that saw the need or the heart that responded to the need or the muscles that made it possible for the hand to move and the heart that oxygenates the blood that in turn oxygenates the muscles and the lungs that took in the air that would allow the oxygenation to happen and the skin that keeps the hand from looking creepy as it reaches out to help or comfort. This is all, we are all a part of the body of Christ, whether we're the skin or the eye or the hand or the muscles. If one member suffers, we all suffer like a toothache. If one member rejoices, we all rejoice because we're all members of the same body. And we're fortunate this morning to have a member of the body here with us that's going to be leaving. I've asked Nathan if he would come up and share a little bit about where he's going, what he's going to be doing. Do we have a microphone that's live? Can we use this?